Welcome back to High Heels Happy Hour. I'm Christina.
And I'm Ingrid.
Yeah, we're still
Yes.
Christina and Ingrid. We have not changed.
We should change one
No. Well, my legal name is Eva, so I could come in as Eva one day.
time.
That's
You never
okay.
know.
Welcome back. If you are returning, thank you for checking us out again. We appreciate it. If you haven't already, subscribe and follow and all those good things. And if this is your first time, well, welcome. This is the podcast where we talk about everything entrepreneurship, female entrepreneurship, and everything else that comes with life in general as an entrepreneur. And yeah,
It's fun.
it is fun. We try to have fun. And we always like to check in first. What has been great for you this week, Ingrid?
Well, great. So we got a new car.
That is fun. I love a new car.
And it's exciting. So I do get to earn a use of a car in Mary Kay.
Yeah.
However, my children are really tall. And y'all know I did have a new addition.
Yeah.
Chance
the dog.
And my husband's 6'5".
And he's huge.
And he's huge. So everyone is really tall and huge.
Yeah.
So we ended up, I do have an option to get a cash compensation with Mary Kay. So we went with a Nissan Armada, which is...
It's huge. So
huge.
It fits your family.
Yes.
It's good.
So that's really exciting.
Congrats on the new car. That's fun.
It is fun. I feel like I'm driving on top of the world now.
Yes, I know.
It's so high.
I drive a living room as well. So, yes.
Yeah. So how about you?
Well, I college theme. We went to our son's the college he has accepted, and it was scholarship weekend. But we got to kind of hang out, talk to teachers, talk to students, hang out on campus, and that was really exciting. And I am really excited for him. It's a great school. It's going to be awesome. So yeah, that was really fun. And we got to be in Atlanta and hang out with our super good friends, the Baylogs that we used to live next door to when we lived in Atlanta.
That's so fun.
Yeah. And they live 5, and I'm not exaggerating, 5-minute walking distance from the campus. So that feels good.
Keep an eye on Figgy.
That's right. So do we have any life hacks?
Well, I do have one. So just in case, so we have like a nutrition episode today. So I figured, why not do something with nutrition? So if you want to burn calories while watching a movie, you can watch a horror movie, because the way your heart fluctuates, it actually helps burn calories. And it's about 180 calories per movie. Wow. Now, I'm not going to, I can't validate all the popcorn and stuff you eat. However, if you watch the movie without, with making good choices, you're at 180 calories. So,
okay. So I wonder, what about drama, or if you cry a lot? I wonder if that too.
I don't know if crying, but the heart, I really love movies. I love stories.
Yeah, that's probably not.
No. Okay. So stick with horror movies.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. When in doubt. So my life hack is also, it's nutritional or health. So I'm sure you've all heard of nutritional yeast, and if you haven't, check it out. But I ordered, and I'm not affiliated with this company yet. It's a big bag, but I ordered it online because they said it was a great substitute for vegetarians and vegans. I've been vegetarian for 30 plus years, and I've started using it in everything, and it is so delicious. So you can add it to dressings and sauces, and you can even make like creamy pastas. You could just dump it in. It has a lot of protein, which is something us vegetarians kind of have a hard time finding the source for, or have a harder time finding. This is delicious. I made a dressing last night, and my husband was like, "What is in this? This is so good." So nutritional yeast, everyone, and this one, Notchalicious, is really yummy. All right, so yes, we have hinted to this several weeks, because you know that we're very into our health and wellness and nutrition, and we are super excited about today's guest because she's an expert in this field. So before we bring her in, let me just introduce you to Jill Cruz, and she is the CEO and founder of With Your Nature Wellness and Weight Loss. And she has a Master of Science in Human Nutrition and a board certified nutrition specialist and certified Big Leap coach. I'm sure she can talk more about that. And she is on a mission. I love this because I think this just is so spot on for this podcast. I'm going to mission to banish the notion of dieting and empowering women to love themselves unconditionally and uplift all women to be masters of their life. Woohoo! Amen to that.
That's
So,
awesome.
without further ado, let's bring on Jill. Hey,
Hi, thanks for having me today.
of course. So, Jill and I go back. We have a mutual friend in our friend Cindy, and we've met several times and also worked a little bit together. So, I'm super excited to chat with you on this. So, anything else you want to add? Anything that's not on the bio or not on, or how you ended up doing what you're doing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, I could talk for hours about any of this stuff. So,
Me too.
how did I end up doing what I'm doing? Well, my background is in functional medicine. I worked in a functional medicine practice for 6 years. Well, I actually trained under her for a year and a half before she would even let me interact with a patient. But that was a very challenging environment. People had a lot of really bad chronic conditions that we honestly, it would take sometimes a year or two to just figure out what was going on. And I learned a lot, but the whole time I kept thinking, yeah, but I kind of want to just do weight loss. Like it just fascinated me. And so a better term actually is weight management at this point, I
Oh,
think is a
that's
term I
great.
use. Yeah,
Yes.
much more commonly. And so eventually, I struck out on my own and I started my own company. And my entire focus is helping. My attitude is, not everybody needs to lose weight. Not everybody wants to. That's fine. But if that's something that you're interested in, then let's do it the right way, not the
Yeah.
wrong way. And dieting is not the right way.
Yeah. Absolutely. And we've been on health journeys, or I've been a vegetarian for, as I said, over 30 years, which is not necessarily means that you're healthy. It could be you can eat the complete wrong things, but it's something we're super interested in. And I do strongly believe in the saying that if you want a healthy company, you have to have a healthy leader. Otherwise, and as entrepreneurs, the problem is we're super busy and usually put everything else ahead because it's, you kind of you're having your own man show, and sometimes or very often your health and wellness is what gets put on the back burner.
We always in the go.
Yeah.
So you want something fast. And
Yeah.
fast is usually not always great.
So,
Yeah.
so Jill, in your daily work with clients, what is some of the biggest mistakes you see, or biggest problems, or things that we forget about when it comes to our health?
So I take a very global perspective on nutrition wellness practices. So one of the biggest mistakes I would say, which starting with what you just talked about, is not putting yourself first. It's absolutely essential if you would like to lose weight, or I was just on another call and we were talking about aging, and I'm 52. My father is not doing well. A lot of people around our age are seeing our parents, and it's scary. And we're thinking, no, I don't want to be like that, right?
Yeah.
So that doesn't just happen. It doesn't just happen anymore. And I think maybe in 100 years ago, you lived on a farm and it was different. But now there's so much stress, physical stress, bad food all around us, temptation, alcohol, all of that. So we're kind of not putting ourselves first, and then we're just expecting things to run well. No, it's not, for the vast majority of us, not just going to fall into place. We have to put ourselves first. And I think, like you said, most people are go, go, go. Let me just get that next milestone in my career before I start taking care of myself. That's backwards, in my opinion.
Yeah, and as you said too, we got to service ourselves. We talk about the new car. I think we're better at servicing our cars often than we are servicing our own bodies. And for me
Yes.
personally, the older I get, the more I get acutely aware of the fact that no, this needs to keep running properly.
Yes. I call it the machine. You got to take care of the machine. If you want the machine to do its work, you got to take care of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I'm a fitness instructor, and one of the things I see a lot, of course, people coming to the gym, that's great, but people
Yeah.
put a lot of emphasis on the exercise, where I think, and they think as long as I work out, I can eat whatever I want, but they forget that what you actually put into your body has probably is more important than exercise. What do you see there? Exercise versus nutrition. Do we put too much emphasis on the exercise?
She's like jumping out of her seat. She's like, oh my gosh, yes.
It's I've had these debates in my head many times, like what's more important, sleep, fitness, nutrition, stress management. Like I think they're all important. I actually have five. I say nutrition, which includes the water that you drink, um, physical activity, stress management, sleep, and mindset. They're all important. I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make is thinking that exercise is the way that they're going to lose weight.
Yeah.
That is more of a myth than a reality. Nutrition, if you really want to lose weight, nutrition is probably going to take a higher precedence. But physical activity is really important for long-term health. Like I was just talking about aging.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge. And so what I tell people is think of your physical activity as your long-term like health insurance plan. Like you need to do that if you want to be 90 or 80 or even 75 and like traveling. I know you love to travel. I don't know. I'm friends with you on Facebook. I see you traveling. It's wonderful. If you want to do that when you're 75, you got to keep moving. And nutrition isn't necessarily going to be the thing, I feel like physical activity is almost more important in terms of just being mobile.
Yeah.
But also for mental health, physical activity is very, very important. And there are entire books written about this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I'm reading a lot of them at the same time. You can really go down a rabbit hole once you start. It's like, oh my God. Yeah. So talking about, you touched on it a little bit, and I know this is something you have an upcoming lunch and learn about sleep. Can we open that Pandora's box too? The importance of good sleep.
Like you were kind of asking me what's more important, fitness or nutrition. If I had to choose between the five, I would choose sleep. I think for weight loss, for long-term health, for performance, in your career, creativity, productivity, sleep is number one. It really, I like to think of sleep as the foundation upon which all of your other health practices rest. So, and I've worked with a lot of women who are like, I'm doing great with the diet and I'm doing, I'm moving, but I still go to bed at 1 a.m. And I'm like, no, that we have to fix that. We can't just let that be. If you think about it, basically, sleep is when we heal.
Yeah.
And it's when we recover and, we have new tissue development and grow. Our tissues are constantly being rebuilt, so to speak. In particular, the brain actually goes through the process, really a cleansing process while we're sleeping. And it's just, I don't think it's possible to actually overemphasize the importance of sleep.
So what's considered a good amount of sleep?
So I think that we want to think in terms of amount and quality and quantity. So if you look at the research around quantity of sleep, 7 to 9 hours is somewhere in between 7 to 9 hours is the target, because if you get less than 7 or you get more than 9, which a lot of people are not aware of, then your risk for pretty much every disease that you are afraid of, that we're all afraid of, goes up. Cancer, obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and in particular, Alzheimer's and dementia. So, I mean, there are actually researchers in the Alzheimer's world who believe that sleep is the the highest contributing factor to that disease, or poor sleep. So 7 to 9 is the target. Everybody's different. Like for me, 7.5 to 8, I feel great. A little bit more than 8, I feel a little bit groggy. So you kind of want to look at your own, how you feel, right? But the other thing is, some people are more efficient at their sleeping. So they're getting better quality sleep so they can do with less.
Okay.
So there are phases of where your brain is going through certain phases while you're sleeping. And you need to have a certain amount of REM. You need to have a certain amount of deep sleep, or you're not going to feel so good. So if you are a very efficient sleeper, you might be able to get away with less, but I wouldn't mess around with anything less than 7. I just wouldn't recommend it.
So do you recommend having some kind of sleep monitor measure? I know you can do it with your eye, if you have an iWatch.
The watch. Yes.
The watch. I know there's Aura rings. Do you have any preferred method?
So the Aura ring is probably the most accurate. I have one. I've been wearing it for, I don't know, 4 years now. It is supposedly the most accurate based on the research. I actually did it myself once. I did a sleep study and I wore my ring and I compared it. But, there's been obviously a lot of studies done on that. The Aura is just the way that it's tracking on the finger, their technology, but also where the location, as opposed to the wrist, it's on the finger, is probably better at tracking your sleep cycles. But you know what? If you have an Apple Watch or some other device, it's probably better than nothing. I don't think anybody has to wear an Oura ring for 4 years. I don't know. I just wear it. But I think it's something that would be worth investigating, especially if you wake up tired. And another thing I'll just say right now, people think that a sleep study is some big deal. If you're tired all the time and you're not really sure what's going on, get a sleep study. Your doctor can prescribe it. Insurance will pay for it. They send you, it's basically like a watch that you wear and it connects to your finger. You do it at home.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to go to an institute. Okay.
Yeah, these days, most people would just get a home sleep study. And why not do that if you're tired all the time? And a lot of people are. And yeah, someone like me could probably look at that person and analyze their lifestyle and say, well, before you do a sleep study, maybe you should go to bed earlier or, stop drinking so much coffee. There might be other factors, of course, but if you've kind of explored a lot of things, why not do a sleep study? But in general, for the average healthy person like you two, appear to be very healthy to me.
I have my sleep study next week.
Oh, you do? Awesome.
She's notorious for not getting enough sleep.
I saw, Ingrid, kind of this look on your face when I was talking about the 7 to 9.
7 to 9. I mean, oh my Lord.
So I will say this with all the love in my heart for you, Ingrid. When you are not getting enough sleep, your entire body is compromised. Every cell in your body is responding to that not enough sleep. And it's just not good. Now there are a lot of reasons that people don't get enough sleep. So sometimes people have insomnia or they wake up in the middle of the night, right? And sometimes people are choosing. I kind of divide them into two groups: the ones who are choosing to not get enough sleep and the ones who are just really struggling. They want to sleep more. And that's a different approach for those two different groups.
Yeah. So I'm in the group of people who would love more, but wake up in the middle of the night or can't go to sleep. And I do think age has something to do with it. Although I've always had that in my life, but lately. So since we are a female-focused podcast, getting into that lovely part of our lives with perimenopause and menopause and post-menopause, all that, it does, sleep is one of the things that kind of goes first, right?
It does, but it doesn't have to.
Okay. There's hope.
Yeah, there is so much hope. And I'm doing a lunch and learn on March 1st about sleep, because it's one of those things that I'm like, no, I mean, you really can improve it. You really can. So it's, again, like, it depends on the person. Everybody has a different issue, their different complex situation around their sleep. But hormonally, what's happening a lot of the time with women is when we hit like late 30s into early 40s, our progesterone, that's one of the more predominant female sex hormones, it starts to go down. That's sort of like the beginning of perimenopause. And when you're and progesterone is very important for sleep. So if someone's listening, or for both of you, if your sleep is compromised, I would definitely try to investigate progesterone first.
Okay.
And estrogen surges, and usually that's because, like, estrogen and progesterone are like, they're like sisters who love and hate each other kind of thing. So they kind of keep each other in check. And if you're, think about it, you're 40, 41, 45, whatever, and your progesterone is going down and your estrogen is still like, yeah, it's a party, woo, she's a little out of control. She gets a little out of control. And then that can cause these estrogen surges, which can wake you up in the middle of the night.
Oh.
So it's less about like, what's my level? It's more about how are these two hormones interacting with each other. So
very interesting. So yes, the lunch and learn is on March 1st, and we'll have links, because I think this is going to be released on February 28th, right?
Yes,
I think so. So yes, there's still time.
yes.
That's so. Any other? Do you have any like quick tips for if you think that you are in this group of perimenopausal or menopausal where, yes, I do wake up in the middle? Is there a quick tip, or is it just go check your hormones, get hormone replacement?
So there's a lot of research just in general about how to get better sleep. And the most well documented ways to improve sleep are actually very simple. They're simple, but people, maybe Ingrid, doesn't necessarily want to do them. And one of the best ways to improve your sleep right away is to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day.
Mm-hmm.
Simple, maybe not easy, but simple.
Yeah.
Every night, 9:30 p.m., 10 p.m., whatever your time is, Ingrid. Like,
I do wake up at the same time every day.
Yes.
do you wake up with an alarm?
Sometimes I just wake up. I'm usually up by 5, but I go to bed at like 1.
Ooh, okay.
You shocked you.
You did shock me.
Um,
Do you know that there's so much interesting research where they take people and they bring them into a facility and they deprive them of sleep, give them 4 hours of sleep, and then they do like cognitive tests on them and stuff. You're close to what they've found is that you might almost be functioning as if you had consumed alcohol. Like, that's how like compromised the brain is with low sleep. Like, you shouldn't be driving, kind of thing. So but I'm not trying. What?
I go to the gym first thing in the morning at like 5:30.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to make you feel in any way wrong about what you're doing. There are reasons for it, right? There are reasons for it.
Yeah. So really quick. I mean, we just met. So I was in the service for 11 years. So we're so used to not functioning, whatever we can do at so little sleep. I can lay down at home and not fall asleep. However, I've sat down with Christina, and it's about more or less how I feel. If I feel safe. We've been at a hotel. I've sat down and have completely fallen asleep her talking to me
in the middle of a sentence, pretty much.
Yes.
she falls
Wow.
asleep.
So I
Yeah,
am.
because you are in a chronic state of sleep deprivation, and what's probably happening when you fall asleep is you're going right into REM, because if you don't get REM sleep, if someone were to deprive you of REM sleep for 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, you would die. Like, it's literally so important. So what's happening is you're probably getting the REM right away, and then you're probably not getting enough.
This is my third sleep study, and a lot of military people fall right into REM, because if not,
Yes.
I don't even think we can obviously function. But no, I'll
Right.
be talking to Christina, and she's like, "What happened?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? What happened?" I'm like, "I didn't fall asleep." She's like, "Yeah, you did." I'm like, "Oh."
But you're bringing up
Walk away.
something that I think it's a part of the conversation that is not often talked about. People who suffer from insomnia, the main cause is actually stress. And I think what you're describing illustrates it to a certain extent. Like you said yourself, like you felt safe, maybe you
Mhm.
felt comfortable, and you fell asleep. And again, like, I guess I could call it a quick, simple tip, maybe, depending on your perspective, but doing some kind of meditative practice before bed can make a big difference. I mean, I have so many, again, I'm going to do this talk on March
I
1st.
love it.
There's so many things, but just calming your nervous system down a little bit might help. And again, but like maybe getting into a routine of even just like, doing like 20 deep breaths before you go to bed. It's not going to solve all your problems, but it will help, because it's your nervous system that's not functioning well,
Yeah.
resulting in poor sleep,
Yeah.
not the other way around. I mean, it's the other way around. It's kind of like a vicious cycle, because when you don't get good sleep, your nervous system doesn't function as well.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
And then when you've had a few days of not good sleep, then you get all stressed out just by thinking you're going to go to sleep, and then you stress yourself out. Oh God, I gotta
Yeah.
sleep, I gotta sleep, I gotta sleep. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Insomnia is not pretty.
Yeah.
It's really
I
tough.
do feel, like you said, like you've been drinking alcohol. When I don't get enough sleep, I do feel like I'm a little hungover. It's true.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah. And it promotes cravings. And, again, they've done all these studies, and like people eat like anywhere from 400 to 600 more calories a day when they're sleep deprived. Yeah. So it makes us hungry. We're just compromised.
Yeah. So speaking of eating,
Yes.
so
favorite
we're
question.
big proponents of intermittent fasting, or time constricted eating. And I started because I heard it was great for not so much weight loss. That was not my reason to come into it. It was more, it's great to balance your hormones, help sleep, all that. And I thought, well, I'll try that. And then I talked her into it. And you've not had migraines.
Yeah, I did it because of my migraines.
So we do, what it is, for those of you that don't know what it is, it's you have an eating window that's smaller than your usual eat all day, grace all day. My window is I have about 5 to 6 hours that I eat a day. So I usually break my fast around 2 or 3, stop eating around 8, and then just let the body kind of rest. And you have a slightly longer eating window, but we're around there. What are your thoughts on this, Jill?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts. In general, we want to think of time restricted feeding or intermittent fasting as like a dietary strategy. Let's just put it in that, not a diet, but like just a strategy you can use. And every strategy around nutrition needs to be personalized to the individual. And it's not necessarily going to work for everybody.
Yeah.
So that's really, really, really important, because people read a book and they go, "Oh, this is it. This is going to solve all my problems,"
Yeah.
and then they do it dogmatically. It's when we get dogmatic that we get into trouble. So try it out, but be open to the fact that maybe it's not the best thing for you. And also, what I recommend is phasing into it. So if, like, for example, if you're someone now who eats at 10 p.m. and then you get up and you eat breakfast at 6 a.m., you're going to have a hard time with a 6-hour feeding window like that tomorrow. As it's probably going to be very challenging. So maybe start with 10 hours or 12 hours. I like to say a minimum of 12 to 13 hours of not eating overnight is for pretty much for most people optimal, just optimal nutrition.
Yeah.
And then from there, you can try like, hey, maybe instead of eating at 8 a.m., I'll eat at 9 a.m. So don't think about it like I'm going to go from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. like Christina, because you're not Christina, right? And we're all different.
Yeah.
So, but I do recommend kind of phasing into it. And a couple things, drink enough water. If you're not eating, you're not bringing in hydration, because we get a lot of our hydration from food. So make sure you're drinking a lot of water. It's 11 o'clock. I haven't eaten yet either, but I'm like sipping my water throughout this conversation. And also, if you're hungry, that's okay. No one ever was damaged or anything like that long term from just being hungry, right? Like you said, we're so used to eating all day. Hunger is never going to hurt you. It's really just a hormonal reaction.
Yeah.
But if you start feeling like your nervous system is kicking in and you feel irritable, nervous, lightheaded, dizzy, shaky. Like for me, I know my point when I could feel my nervous system getting jacked up. I eat immediately because that's now you're counterproductive. But as long as you feel good and you have energy, you can think clearly, you're in a good mood, go for it. So just make sure you eat if you don't feel great, essentially. And also, my final piece of advice is, well, at least for now, is make sure that when you do eat, that you're getting enough nutrition.
Yeah.
We all need to eat a certain amount of fat and protein and fiber in the day. And
Yeah.
if you're just like a little bird, like, oh, I'm just going to have a little salad and then I'm going to have a little something. And then did you get enough protein? Because if you didn't, you're going to be tired. And your body's going to start breaking down important tissues to get that protein. And that's counterproductive. You want it to be health promoting, not I'm going to lose 50 pounds by intermittent fasting. Like, you know what I mean? That mentality is not usually good in the long run.
Great points. Great. And I go back to my nutritional heat. They should be sponsoring this.
Yes, they should.
No, but I do absolutely. I came into it gradually too. I was never a breakfast person, so that part was not hard for me. But I pushed it gradually, and I just feel. I mean, our bodies were not meant to eat all the time, and for cell recovery and all that. And I actually feel more alert because when you eat, the blood goes to, getting or taking care of the food. So I feel more alert. But then, of course, you hit a time where you're like, nope, now it's time to eat. But so true about the macros, and especially as a vegetarian with protein. But I think women in general, I think I shouldn't generalize, but I think a lot of us don't get enough proteins.
Agreed, 100%. And fiber. Fiber is another one. People get on board very quickly with protein because they're like, oh, okay, well, I just need to eat like an additional piece of chicken or fish or a cup of beans or something every day. And it's like, oh, okay, I can do that. But then I'm like, yeah, but we want to aim for 30, 35, 40 grams of fiber a day. And they're like, okay. And then they record what they're eating and it's like 12 grams. And they're like, what am I doing wrong? So it's a little bit more challenging, I've noticed, for people to get the fiber in, but it's so important for your, microbiome, which is going to affect everything in your body.
Yes. What is your favorite source of fiber?
Just from a fiber density perspective, I would say beans. It's not that hard. Like a cup of beans a day, you're getting 12 to 15 grams right there. It's kind of easy to remember. Lentils, chickpeas, even like green peas, black beans, anything like that. Just add that to your daily life. You're adding you might be doubling your fiber, right? Just from doing that. But some people do get gassy from beans. So, you got to again, individualize it. Another thing which everybody always gets excited about is raspberries and blueberries. You're going to get like 4, 5, 6 grams of protein just from that. So add those berries. You got all those antioxidants, the vitamin C, polyphenols. I'm a huge fan of berries.
Okay, I do that. That's good.
I love blueberries.
I love blueberries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love blueberries and raspberries? I mean, they're amazing.
And they're also quite low if you're going to eat any fruit, because fruit has a lot of sugar. The berries are a good choice because they're not as.
Yes.
And did you say protein or fiber?
That's fiber.
Fiber.
That's
okay.
fiber. Yeah. Beans are cool because they have protein as well. Like as a vegetarian, you need to be eating at least a cup of beans every day, in my opinion, So you have beans, you have fruit, which like we said, go for the higher fiber, lower sugar fruit. And then you have the world of vegetables where you're going to get a lot of fiber, but you kind of have to eat a lot of vegetables to get to 12 or 15 grams of fiber. And another one that people like, and it's easy, is chia seeds and flax seeds. They pack a high fiber punch, and they're like kind of easy. You can add them to drinks. You can add them to, like make a chia pudding.
I started using basil seeds. Have you heard of those? Basil seeds are very similar to chia, but they don't have lectins.
Yeah.
So they're and I put them in smoothies and stuff. They're very similar to chia.
Yeah, a smoothie could be
higher in fiber than chia.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll check that out. A smoothie could be like your, main event nutritionally every day. You could put your nutritional yeast in there. You could put, as a vegetarian, hemp seeds are rich in fiber. Rich in protein. So you can get 11 grams of protein just from 3 tablespoons of hemp seeds. You can add your berries. You can add a little avocado, some healthy fat, fiber. You can even add like a fiber powder or a protein powder. Like a smoothie can be like this magical vehicle to deliver a lot.
Yeah, I do that. I break my fast with a loaded smoothie with I do some supplements too, some creatine and basil seeds and a lot of stuff, protein powder.
The creatine is really important because our main source of creatine is from meat. So if you don't eat meat, I like that idea. And also, I was thinking, oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. There was something else I was going to talk about. Oh, I know what it is. I think you'll both appreciate this. In a smoothie, you can also add matcha green tea.
Yes.
And matcha is a powerhouse of polyphenols, which are plant nutrients. We think of antioxidants. An antioxidant is usually a polyphenol. It's coming from a polyphenol. So matcha is like incredible. It's the green tea powder, the fluffy powder. The only catch is that you can't just dump the powder in your smoothie, unfortunately. I mean, you can, but you're not going to get the full benefit. If you make it into tea, and then what I do is I just make a jar, and it lasts me like a week or so. And every day I take like a third of a cup and I put it in my smoothie. It's good. It's anti-aging. It's good for your skin. Green tea has so many benefits. Again, like your magical smoothie,
Yeah.
Throw some green tea in there.
Matcha, you can drink that in a fasted state. It's not going to break.
Yes,
so
that's true. Yeah, if you're a green tea drinker, go for it.
Do you have to mix it with warm water, or you could do it with cold as well?
So it's funny because every polyphenol has different things. Like, for example, berries are best eaten raw. You get the most polyphenols. Olive oil, best eaten raw. You get the most polyphenols. Tomatoes, best eaten cooked. You get the most polyphenols. So it depends. But with matcha, you want to steep it. Is that the right word? Steep or seep? I always get those confused. You steep it for 3 minutes at ideally about 160 degrees. So the way that I do it is I put it in the water in the pot, and then I just let it on a very, very low simmer for 3 minutes, and then it's done. And then I put it in a jar and cool it off.
Because it's powder, so it kind of like dissolves, right? You don't
It
have
just
to,
dissolves.
you don't have to,
Yeah, there's no bag.
there's no
No.
bag.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Good. That I'm glad I asked that.
It's, I mean, if you just go Google like benefits of green tea, you'll be like, what? Like there's even one study that said that people who drank, I think it was 3 cups of green tea a week, had they looked at how many of those people, it was a population study, so take it with a grain of salt, but that the people who drank more than 3 cups of green tea a week had the lowest chance of ever getting chemotherapy in their life. It's kind of a weird study, but like they were looking at cancer risk, and again, not making any claims that green tea causes, prevents cancer, but there's a good amount of evidence that it's definitely protective and really good for us.
Is it decaffeinated matcha? Or green
No,
tea?
it's naturally has small amounts of caffeine, but it also has something called L-theanine, which is a amino acid that is calming for us.
Oh,
So you can even take L-theanine as a supplement if you have anxiety or you get nervous a lot. I always have L-theanine in my drawer over here, and if I'm a little nervous, I just take one. I mean, again, don't take any supplements without checking with your healthcare provider. But L-theanine is this molecule in green tea that just it calms us down. It promotes the production of GABA, which is
GABA.
sleep-inducing.
Yeah. Oh,
Ingrid.
mid-afternoon drink now. Getting me ready for. Okay.
Yeah,
that's
or even for some people, because of the caffeine, I wouldn't recommend drinking green tea before bed, but you could take L-theanine before bed and it could potentially help with sleep. Again, check with your healthcare provider. But green tea is like a pretty magical thing.
Well, that's awesome. Gosh, with so much good information. So what would you say, because I think for a lot of us entrepreneurs, right, and this is a question that you brought up, what is a good, because we're always on the run, always going somewhere, and it's hard to find time to sit down and eat. What are some great grab and go foods, would you say?
Before I say that, I will say a couple things. Number one, your health should always come first. And if there is any way that you can create a schedule, especially as an entrepreneur, it was funny because I interviewed somebody on my podcast a while back, and she realized that she had become an entrepreneur so that she would have freedom, but she was so busy all the time, she didn't have any freedom. And she was like, why did I become an entrepreneur? So take control of your life. That's why, we mentioned in my bio, like becoming the master of your life. Expect a life where you have time to sit down and eat a meal. You deserve that. We all deserve that. And actually, you're probably going to function better, be more productive and more creative if you do that. So that's my first preface. My second thing is snacking is not really necessary for most people. So like, we were just talking about intermittent fasting. It doesn't have to be intermittent fasting, but can you just eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner? And then you don't really need snacks. Like if you're someone who's, running around for 3 or 4 hours in the afternoon, do you really need to eat? I don't know, maybe not. If you eat enough protein, fat, and fiber at your lunch, maybe you won't even think about food for several hours. So I've prefaced all of that. But then again, there are times when you don't have time. You're just too busy. So it depends on the person's situation. Are you at home? Are you in an office? Are you driving around in a car? Those are all different situations. Go ahead.
No, I think you're in the car a lot. You're in the car a lot.
You're in the car a lot. Yeah. So like if I were working with you personally, I would sit down with you, and say, let's look at your day. What are you eating for breakfast? Is that sustaining you? How long are you in the car? Are you okay with bringing a cooler with you? Some people don't want to do that. And other people are like, yeah, I mean, if you could bring a little cooler, you get like a little tiny cooler and just put your anything in there, anything you want. It could be a salad. It could be hard-boiled eggs. It could be 2 chicken legs, But if, I'm a huge fan. I always have. There's this new company floating around. They're everywhere now that make these shelled pistachios. Have you seen them? They're like everywhere.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They're like at the airport now.
Yeah.
So pistachio, any kind of nut is fantastic because
Love
you love nuts. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, being a vegetarian, that makes sense because you're getting that protein, that extra little bit of protein. And well, of course, there's fat and fiber in there as well. So any kind of nut, but pistachios are pretty low in calories compared to like almonds. So choose your nuts wisely. It could also be pumpkin seeds or sunflower seeds. Yes, there are 1,000,001 bars that you can go to the health food store and buy, and they're all supposedly wonderful. I am more of a Whole Foods is best. Not I'm 100% Whole Foods are best person. So I would much rather have a client like buy a bag of pistachios or almonds than like having all these fancy bars. It's just my bias.
Yeah.
So
that's a great point, because I think the processed food industry or the processed foods are really what destroyed our health to start with. That we're not eating real food, and Whole Foods being as close to the source as possible. Like a potato, a sweet potato,
yes.
being in a pulverized form or breaded this and breaded that. So yeah.
Yes,
No,
I tell anybody who will listen, I'll say to them, before you do intermittent fasting, before you do keto or the Mediterranean, whatever it is that you're thinking of doing, just eat like 80% of your foods, whole foods, and just watch the magic happen. Watch the magic happen.
Eat 80% of your food, whole food, real food, and then the rest 20 if it's something processed. And that's so
yeah.
That's so crazy. So I'm hoping, I pray that what I say is like a big aha moment, because you said the cooler. I'm the one that asked the question on what to do on the go. I fill my husband's cooler for work.
Oh.
So he has his snacks.
But you don't?
But I don't.
Oh. So you're not putting your health first.
Yes.
You're putting his.
It's typical women behavior. We've been trained to think like that.
What the heck?
Is that a light bulb that just went?
Yeah, and I'm on the go, and I usually don't sit often to eat at all. But up until now, this was really interesting because I'm like, wait, he has a cooler with all snacks and everything squared away.
Yeah. I mean, you could put anything you want in a cooler, anything. Like I teach this class at a local corporation, and I showed them a picture of my, it's like, you see the beach, in the background, and it's my salad. I was like, I bring salad to the beach, people think it's crazy, but why not? So you could really, and the cool thing about salad is that you could, like in the morning, you could have, I'm not a fan from an environmental perspective of those pre-washed little, like you can get like spinach and baby kale and arugula and all that stuff. Those big cases are terrible, but like for a busy person, it's already pre-washed, it's already kind of cut. Throw it in like have things that are really simple and easy to put on top of your salad, like cherry tomatoes. You don't even have to cut them. Throw some olives in there. I mean, I'm like a salad extravaganza person, so like I go crazy.
Let's exchange recipes.
Oh, I'm like hooked on from a vegetarian perspective, that you'll love this. I got all the greens and veggies. Buy sprouts, buy watercress, at Whole Foods. They sell those bags of shredded. It's like a coleslaw premix. It's got shredded cabbage and carrots.
Yeah.
Boom. You pull it out of the bag, you plop it in the bowl. It's so easy. I also love hearts of palm. They add this flavor, or like I use artichoke hearts, which are really good fiber. You can buy pickled beets or fermented beets, even better, fermented sauerkraut. All easy to throw in there right now. But now you're starting to think of something really tasty. And then I add chickpeas and feta. That's amazing.
Now I'm starting to get hungry.
It's so good. Like I'm kind of a little bit addicted to this current salad right now.
Okay. Well, I'm going to send you some of mine too. So mix it up. That's so.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wrap it up a little bit because I know you have a busy day with lots of clients. But what would you say um, if you have? Are there like three simple things everyone can start with today to be more in charge of their health? Like, and we've said a
So,
lot, but what would you say
right.
to start with?
I would say start with your mindset. It's all about your mindset. Are you worth the effort? Are you worth the effort? Yes, you are. I can answer you. I can answer. I don't care who's listening to this podcast. 100,000% you are worth the effort. But you got to believe that for yourself, right? You have to believe that it's actually more important that you make your own cooler bag than your husband's. Because and I'm not trying to minimize. Keep making your husband's lunch. That's so sweet. But like in life, we have to take care of ourselves. This world is not set up for other people to take care of us. Everybody is selfish, and that's okay. That's how we were designed. Doesn't mean that you're not kind, you don't make lunch for your kids or your husband, but it's like that oxygen mask thing on the plane that everybody talks about. Like it's so true. So start with your mindset. Do you feel like you're worth the effort? Yes, you are. And so what can you do that's like small and simple to care for yourself, to give your body and your mind and your spirit the care and love that it deserves. They deserve. We deserve that. So it
Yeah.
could be as simple as just having a mantra. I love mantras. You know, you wake up in the morning and you go, I am worthy. I am worthy of being taken care of. Whatever makes you feel good. A mantra should be short, sweet, and easy to repeat, and it should evoke a feeling of like calm and happiness. Whatever it is, I don't care what it is. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. It could be anything that speaks to you. So honestly, I mean, I would say tip number one, know that you're worth it and prioritize yourself. Tip number two, get a mantra that feeds into that belief that you are worth it, that creates that belief. We have to kind of recreate our beliefs about ourselves in a way. And I would say number three, big top three, the third would be just try to get that 5 minutes in the morning and at night. As soon as you wake up, right before you go to bed, just 5 minutes of turning inward and appreciating yourself. Just turn inward and go, wow, I'm awesome. And this is why I'm awesome. Because
Yeah.
I did this and I did that. And I took the time to take care of myself today. I took the time to sit here quietly for 5 minutes, pat myself on the back. And you
Yeah.
can go through all the wonderful reasons that you are amazing. There's no thought police is going to come and yell at you for bragging about yourself. You know, I'm a big fan of bragging about myself to myself. Why not? You know,
That's
nobody knows.
why not? That's where I
It's
love that. I love that, Jill, that you really brought it to a deeper level too. That it's not just the foods and what we got to start up here in the noggin.
yes.
That
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter. And I love your approach to health and nutrition. That it's get away from those diets and really learn about yourself, what works for you, and the food, and eat whole foods. I think it's. I
Yeah.
love your approach.
Thank you. Yeah, it should be a natural self-care should be a natural byproduct of your belief about yourself, of valuing yourself. It should just be a natural byproduct. And weight loss should be a natural byproduct of just taking care of your body better.
Yes. Amen. That's a quote we're going to use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay. I
Perfect.
use
Yeah.
it all the time.
So, Jill, tell everyone. Well, we will have links to the lunch and learn, but any other ways that people can connect, follow you, where would they find you?
I would say definitely someone's probably listening to this podcast right now. I have a podcast. It's called the Jill Cruz podcast that is just really a labor of love, 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 love. I've had so much fun doing it. And you'll get a lot of inspiration from that. And also you'll get to listen to it's all women guests and a lot of successful women and talking about how they have, you know, a kind of similar theme to what you're talking about here, how they've kind of, you know, been successful in their career and their lives. So that I would say is a big one. And then
Great podcast. I can highly recommend. It's the Jill Cruz podcast.
Podcast. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
simple, easy to remember. And then, you could always visit my website. It's winweightloss.com. That's WYN for With Your Nature. And I have a ton of articles there, like blog posts if, people want to. I have a couple about sleep, a couple about fitness, everything that you can imagine.
Ingrid is going to go read the sleep one right now.
Yeah, Ingrid, you should come to our lunch and learn, and we'll
Yes,
we'll
absolutely.
case study you. You could be our case study.
So, yeah,
You don't have to if you don't want to.
I'm a little bummed that I'm going to miss it because I have an
Oh.
appointment already scheduled. But
no,
maybe
I'll take notes.
Yeah.
You'll
Yeah,
And I like how
and
study goes too because I'm curious. This is my third one, so
yeah, the sleep study. Yeah, and we do record the call too. So if you sign up for it, you'll get the recording.
oh, that's great. That's awesome. And you're also on Instagram with
Yeah.
weight loss.
Yes, Instagram, LinkedIn is probably where I'm the most active, I would say. Like I'm on LinkedIn like every day. I enjoy LinkedIn much more than Instagram for some reason. I just feel like it's like a level up in
Yeah.
what I'm looking at and interacting with.
And also for entrepreneurs, it's that's the place to hang out.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Jill, thank you so much for being on. I feel like there might have to be a part 2 coming soon.
yeah,
So much to unpack.
Yeah.
And really appreciate you taking your time and sharing your wisdom with us. And I think with
No
so many
problem.
good nuggets.
Yes. Well, thank you for
not chicken. Yeah.
not chicken nuggets. But yeah, you just reminded me, always good to have some things in the freezer though that you can pull out at the last minute. Not chicken nuggets, but some other kind of something. But thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. This is so much fun just talking to both of you. Beautiful, successful, dynamic, interesting women. It's really been a pleasure.
We need to bring her more off.
Yeah, it was I love it.
It's coming from my heart too.
We always do a little cheers in our non-alcoholic drinks today. Cheers.
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 Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.